the second portion actually of the summit was about balancing a woman's many roles. So we had panelists like Arian Serafico. Actually, I have encountered her before. I joined her Dare to Share challenge last year, and she is an entrepreneur. She does online courses for actually thousands of beautiful, amazing, empowered women to be able to level up, in their business, in their lives. That's her advocacy. There's also Dr. Jane Zamora, and then also Winnie Wong. Well, Winnie Wong is very familiar with me because I've watched her YouTube channel, Penelope Pops. She advocates how to be basic living, so it's more of like sustainability and more of like Marie Kondo-ish, but it's more of like in a simplistic manner. So if you know Penelope Pop, please search her in your YouTube, and you can also follow her Instagram. By the way, guys, this is not sponsored. They don't know I'm doing this. So I'm just giving a lot of appreciation of the things that I've learned from these individuals. Though I may not know them personally, but they have inspired me and made me reevaluate things and have so much learning from their own lives, right? So check them out. So the topic of balancing women's many roles. So they're an entrepreneur, they are a YouTuber, they're doctors, and they're also teachers. So how do you balance this many roles in your life? So in totality, I think what happened was during that talk is how do they find time, one, to be able to be responsible for everything in their lives, because of course we get overwhelmed. I'm also guilty of this. I get anxious easily when everything I started thinking about, my role as a daughter, my role as a sister, my role as a girlfriend, my role as an employee, my role as an entrepreneur, my role as a coach, and then all of that, there's a day that you started thinking about all the things that you have to do, all the roles that you have to perform, and it gets really overwhelming, and it makes you just want to jump off a building. Okay, that's a very suicidal thought, but then there are days that you do just want to stop. You just, if you could just transfer all of these roles that you have to someone else, so that you don't have to suffer all through it, like a burden and such. And you get really anxious about it. For me, I get panic attacks. I can't breathe. I get breaks, like stress breaks, I have stress rashes. I have to drink a lot of antihistamine. I have to do yoga. I have to meditate so that I could keep my breathing back again. And it's really overwhelming, balancing all of this. So the tips on that summit was like, one, you have to learn how to prioritize. And if you're a youngster, you're just beginning in the world of corporate life, or you're doing a business, or whatever you're starting into, if you're a newly graduate, it gets to be very overwhelming. It depends on your outlook. So one of the key things that Winnie Wong said about, if you have a big goal, for example, you want to be an entrepreneur. You have this big goal, right? You want to be an entrepreneur. And it's overwhelming. Like, you started thinking about, I have to register my business. I have to come up with my products and services, the marketing, the content of my social media, etc., etc. And the list goes on. And then when you look at the list, you get so overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know how to accomplish all of these things. I have limited time, etc., etc. So it gets overwhelming, right? This one, I've encountered this with one of the people I have actually coached, and this individual wants to be a mental health practitioner, and this person actually wants to build a mental health facility outside of Manila. So when she starts thinking about all of these things, what happened is that instead of doing it, it makes her not want to do it because it's overwhelming, right? You have so many things to do. It's not attractive to you to do, and then you get intimidated by it. So if you have a big goal, you have to break it down to smaller ones. which will make it more manageable for you. So for example, you want to be an entrepreneur, you have a list of things to do to become an entrepreneur, right? So big goal, entrepreneur. Smaller goal, okay, business registry, products and services, and then you have your pricing, marketing, etc. Under the business registration, what are the things that you have to do? Be as specific as you can. So when you have all the specifics that you need to do that goal, you schedule it now daily. I know you have to do it daily. Why? Small wins makes you want to continue. Remember that. Your small wins makes you want to keep on going. Each day, if you achieve something that brings you closer to that goal, it makes you feel happy. It makes you feel that you have done something great, right? So, for example, another thing, that client of mine who wants to put up a mental health center for her own business and her own passion project. She's so overwhelmed of what to do. Like, for example, she doesn't know if she has to go back to Manila to get her MA, etc., etc. So we broke it down. What are the things that you need to do? What is overwhelming you? So we weighed her decisions. We lined up everything that she has to do. We did a mind map to get as specific as possible. All of my clients are required to do a mind map because I want them to really exhaust everything that they need to do before we break down how they will achieve their goals. So that's a very helpful way for you to not get overwhelmed and for you to be able to balance your passion projects. Another question that was thrown during that session is that, how do you know if you're in the right career path? So of course, before becoming a very multi-hyphenated woman, you first have to figure out what kind of path that you want to do. And Aryan actually gave a really good answer on this, that for example, if you're just exploring, you have been in this job for like 8 years, but you don't know, because one of the participants was a teacher and is a teacher still, and she said that, I've been a teacher for 8 years. I don't know if it's still the right one for me. I feel like there's something else that she has to do. So Aryan answered this, and she said about, if you're considering of changing, what career that you're pursuing, you have first to explore what are your interests before zeroing in that one path that you want to do. So for those who may not know, or you have not yet read my website or my story of how I became a life coach, I have been a market researcher for 6 years. I have done multiple roles over that 6 years, from a lot of leadership roles to coming from an officer all the way to where I am right now. So I have done a lot of roles, from operations, sales and marketing. I have done research jobs. I have done operations, project management, quality control, anything that like a manufacturing company can do. So in that 6 years that I have been with market research, and I have explored a lot. I've done also training and development. So, and then even after 6 years, I felt like my heart wasn't there. I got exhausted. I thought it was just burnout, but I wasn't burnout. I was just no longer passionate. I was no longer happy. It doesn't excite me to come to work. It doesn't give me the same joy I used to have when I started the job, or even if I was already in the middle of that 6 years. And so this is what I did, similar to how Aryan described it. And I was fortunate that I was given time off from work to actually do it, because on Aryan's answer, she said, give yourself a year to explore everything that you want to do before zeroing in one path. In my case, I was given a month off from work to just, soul search. Not all companies would do that. That's why I'm very grateful to my boss that she considered giving me that kind of time off, and to be able to get to know myself more and explore a lot of things. So during that time, Aryan was right. I list down everything I wanted to do. I did culinary. I tried to be a YouTuber, which I'm continuing now. I've also tried being an entrepreneur on some other things, like selling bags, jewelry, etc. And those are like one of the things that I did. And then another thing that came was that I was coaching someone from the office then, and this person met me during my sabbatical break. We talked for 3 hours before I became a life coach right now, right? We talked for 3 hours just talking about what career she's gonna do, what are her decisions in life, etc., etc. And among all of the things that I did, from culinary to YouTube to, making healthy recipes, blogging, what really resonated to me was that 3-hour conversation. I found out that after so long, it's been 6 years since I started in market research, that one thing that I fell in love 6 years ago was the one thing I still want to do. And that is to help people to realize their biggest potential in life and leading them to the best life that they can ever have. Hence, I've decided to go down to the path of life coaching, which leads me today. So if you are going through any quarter life, midlife crisis, and you don't know where to go, explore these things. List down everything that you're interested in, you've always been very curious about, and the things that you've always wanted to do, but you never gave it a chance. List those things down. Make time, not just find time. Really make time to do them, to explore them, and ask yourself, look at how your body is responding. Literally, your body even already is telling you if it's something that you want to do. How much enthusiasm when you wake up in the morning and feel that, gosh, I really want to do this today. Because you're so excited and so passionate that you just can't wait to start it. And that's what I feel each time that I open up like a specific topic. Whenever I get a chance to coach someone, even just for an hour, my day ends so perfectly. Even the next day it spills over, I'm still very happy because I had an opportunity to actually impart to someone and help them make great decisions in their lives. And I think that's how you're gonna be able to find out what kind of calling or career path you should go down to. Alright? So that is a very heavy topic. But do that if you're going through any quarter life crisis. And if you're interested to talk to me about it, or if anyone, a friend, a confidant, whoever you want to talk to, do approach them. Open up the possibilities. Be brave to go out of your comfort zone. Because, YOLO lang man sabihin. You only live once. But, don't you just want to be a really great example for other people, or your family, or anyone who's around you right now? That you can be able to reach your dreams just doing that first step and doing that kind of pursuing your passion. It's not easy. It wasn't easy, but you can do it. Alright, another topic that was discussed is about negotiating your worth. So it's more of like a setting on a corporate where the speakers were Rosario Herrera, Jane D, who's also from Hong Kong. I think she's under the... What bag was that? That luxury bag? Victoria's Secret. Not Victoria's Secret. What's your mom's favorite bag, Mahal? Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, yeah. She's the part of the marketing team for that. So, there's also Nicole Villarejo and Maricel Laksa Pangilinan. So, Team Pangilinan. So, there are some celebrities on the panel. So, how do you negotiate your worth? So, in the corporate setting, how do you first ask, I deserve a raise? How do you make that kind of conversation? How do you balance out that even if there are a lot of males, how do you as a woman are empowered to demand the work that you're doing? Like, of course, you're working so hard in the company, and then you should get what you deserve, right? So how do you start that conversation? And one of the tips that we're given is that if, for example, you're an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, you should know your worth. One, by understanding what kind of value you give to your clients. That's how you measure your worth. Two is how much experience you have and how much it affects the value that you give to your clients, to be able for you to quantify the amount that you will be demanding. Three, the most important one, and it's a very resounding statement all throughout that segment, is that don't take it personally. If someone said like, oh, you're too expensive for me, and then you're gonna suddenly think about, am I expensive? Am I not worth it? Do I not give the same value? Why are they telling me to, lower down my costs? Remember, don't take it personally. Women are known to be very emotional on these things. It's not about you, it's about the project that you're gonna get commissioned with. So if the client tells you, you're too expensive for me, or I don't think you should charge that way. If you're highly emotional when you receive that email or that text or that kind of verbal exchange, one of the advice is take a pause, breathe. If it's an email, don't respond immediately. Give it some time. Reflect on it. Don't give it like an essay answer, like, I don't know why you're telling me this, I'm worth this, blah blah blah, choo. No. You take a breath, because of course at the end of the day you have to be professional about it. You step away from the laptop, or if ever you're in a meeting, you breathe or you excuse yourself for 2 minutes just to get your bearings together. And then come back to it calmly. There is a rational way about it. For example, if they're telling you're too expensive, you ask them, what's your budget? Maybe it's something that you can work around it. Two, why do they say that you're expensive? Maybe there are things that you can cut costs off if you can, or your business can do it. And then you explain also, why are you charging this much? Because for example, if you're an influencer, or you are in a marketing or any service industry, why are you charging this way? Because I can give you this amount of reach, I can give you this amount of engagement, I can give you a lot of value by just charging this. Or you give them options. Option 1, 2, 3, break down all the costs and what they're gonna get. That's to be able to manage your client's expectation. Even in a work setting, it's the same. What about demanding salary, an increased one? So, because I came from a very Western company, my company is American, so it's easy for us actually to negotiate. Like, we need an increase, etc., etc. But the thing about Asian people, or at least for Filipinos, we're so shy to demand. Like, we work so hard, overtime forever. You work from 8 to 12 midnight to 4 a.m., etc. And then you just hope somebody notices that you're working so hard, you're so tired every day, but then nobody notices it. And then somebody gets the increase or the promotion. Here's the thing that I've learned from one of my previous bosses. You have to play the politics of your company. That's one. Two, you have to really share to other people that you're the one responsible for those things that the good things that are happening. And don't be ashamed of it. If some people say, ay, ang kapal naman ng mukha mo, what the? You should. It's okay. You deserve the credit. You need to be courageous enough. It's not about being mayabang. It's not about that. It's not about being too aggressive. It's knowing that you're worth it It's knowing that you've worked hard for it and knowing in yourself that you deserve it. So for example, I had a boss before. She likes to take credit of the things that are happening in our team. And I humor her, you know, I couldn't reach this thing if not for you. Everything that I am right now is because of you. But in truth, she didn't do anything. Right? All the hard work was being done behind her. And who was that person? There were 3 of us who were working hard. And she was getting all the credit for it. So, what did I do? One, I have marked every presentation that I did for her. I have put my name on who did that. 2, I've made sure that I was visible not to her only, but to her superiors. So whenever she's not around, okay, I'm not like backstabbing her or anything like that, okay? It's more of like visibility. It's being smart on your moves. It's being tactical. So when she's not around, of course, who's the one next in line? Whenever something happens, any questions, and you're there, and you can answer it, even if that person is not there, that gives you credit. Okay, this person actually knows it from inside and out. It's proving that. 3, that can, shift that credit. One, of course, not all Filipinos are very comfortable like confronting their boss about it, right? So another that I've tried is that sometimes you're doing a project that's not just you, right? And you've got a team behind it. You look in that team and make your team members or those involved in that project or stakeholders be your advocate. Make them be the one saying your name. So if I had a boss that was not really, very vocal about me, I found mentors inside the company who knows my kind of work ethics, the delivery that I do, and they're the ones pitching my name. It wasn't a conscious choice in my part. Looking back at right now, just this moment, I think it was a smart move. It was a very tactical move to be visible in higher ups and make them pitch for you. Because even if your boss isn't the one pitching for you, but there were very powerful people who are in a really right position to decide those things, pitching your name, then that says about a lot of your influence and a lot about who you are. So you'll be able to get the credit